What is up, y'all? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm your girl, Jen Sugarmeyer, and this is Mindset in the Morning. We are live 5 days a week at Central Standard Time, but it's YouTube, so you can watch it whenever. But this is a movement. It's more than just a show. It's a movement of getting intentional with our mind. There's a holy trinity of health, and that's mind, body, soul. And in the morning, so often we get our body right. Maybe we're exercising, we're stretching, we're doing something to become agile, or maybe it's throughout the day. And then we tap into our spiritual side and we meditate or whatever that may be. But so many times we neglect the mind. I neglected the mind for 35 years until I figured out the power of it. And then I became almost a little obsessed with learning more and wanting to know more and wanting to optimize the power of the mind. And when I started to go down that route, my entire world changed. And so I get up at 4:45 every day for both of us, really. It's for me and it's for you. And it's to provide 20 minutes of just get in, get out content that you can use and apply to your day. Because I want you to show up powerfully. I want you to show up intentionally. I want you to have the life that you know that you deserve. And I'm telling you, it is here. It's all in the mind. The mind is so crazy powerful that it's just these little things. And there are things that stop us from standing in our success. There are things that stop us in our tracks every single day. There's suffering that just hits us like a wave. And the truth is, we don't have to go there. We don't. It's all created in our mind. And if we create it in our mind, then we can create a different outcome. Our experiences in this life come down to our beliefs. Our beliefs. If we want a different experience, then we just need to have a different belief system. That's one of the tools you can engage. This week, we're talking about getting in flow. Well, yesterday we talked about getting in flow. So today I wanted to talk about resistance, which is probably a little bit before getting in flow. So we're taking these a little bit out of order, but anyhow, we're going to talk a little bit deeper into the topic today. So, but first, before we even get started, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because that helps blow this algorithm up. And we want others to be able to find this information, to be able to tune in every single day. And they don't know if it's not here. There's tons of competition on YouTube, and those likes and those subscribes go a long way. So appreciate your support on that. We do. We want to start a movement instead of just, oh, that was nice to listen to once, but getting intentional about our day and our mind every single day. So that being said, resistance. I just got fur in my face. I think it's like my cat. And I had just put lip gloss on it. It's like stuck to my lip gloss and all that. So that's what's happening here. I have fur in my face. Okay. So resistance. You know what I'm talking about when there's just something that's not sitting right with you, where you're just like, oh, and it could be one of a couple things. Whenever we're about to stretch and grow to the next level. I talked a lot about this last week when I was on this boat last week, and how I was around kind of this, you know, their bank accounts were bigger than mine. And it was a growth moment for me, and it stretched me. And so I felt uncomfortable, but I know that being uncomfortable, even though I kind of wanted to just walk off the boat at some time, because I was like, ooh, which, by the way, I talked to somebody yesterday and they offered me another opinion. And I thought, ooh, that was really powerful. If we have time, I'll get to that. But I just felt uncomfortable, but I knew that was growth. And so I stuck with it. So anytime we feel like we're growing, because our brains are designed to keep us safe. They don't know what's in the future. They just know where we're at or what's been in the past. That's it. And it doesn't mean that your brain knows which is the best path for you. That's why you have to step in the driver's seat and say, you know what? No, it's okay. It's okay for you to go forward and be uncomfortable, because that's the only way that you're going to grow. If you stay where you're at, then you're never going to change. You're never going to grow. You're never going to adapt. But your brain just goes, I don't know what that is. I've got to go. Bye. So you have to tell yourself, you have to point it in the direction of where it's supposed to go. Because it doesn't just know, but just because it's telling you, stay back here, and you say, that's what my gut says, I have this intuition. No, it's just your brain trying to keep you safe. And it doesn't mean that that's necessarily what's better for you. You may be in a really terrible relationship and you try to leave it. I've seen this. Oh gosh, I've seen this over and over. And you try to leave, you want to leave the relationship, but your brain's like, oh, but now you're alone. You better go back to what you know, because that's seems comfortable and safe back there. And that's why you keep seeing these relationships of these people that you're like, why do you keep getting back together? It just doesn't even make sense. But it's because both of them, that's all they know. So they keep going back to it because they're not willing to challenge themselves and go through that discomfort. And they're not making that cognitive decision. It's just what we do naturally. But if they stopped to think about it and they said, and they knew that they were going to be going through something and that on the other side of that was going to be better, maybe they would make a different decision. I don't know. So anytime we're going through that level of growth, there's that feeling of resistance. Ooh, I don't like this. That feels really weird. Then there's also where maybe it clashes with your morals. It clashes with your values. You're like, this isn't right. Something's not right about this. And you feel that level of internal dissonance. So whatever it is, if you are feeling this internal feeling, or maybe you have anger, maybe there's some level of anger inside of you, and you're resentful. I can't believe that person did that to me. Maybe you're fearful about something. Oh, I don't want to feel these feelings. So these creep up in our life all the time. Maybe it's you go into the office and your boss took credit for something that you did. How many of us have dealt with that? You're like, I did all the work. And you could have at least just kept my name on the PowerPoint that I did for you. You stripped my name out and put your name on there. What a jerk. So how do we deal with these situations when we don't feel good internally and yet they keep coming up? Well, we've said this many times on the show, where your thoughts go, your energy flows. So what does this mean for you? Whatever you're putting your time and your energy into, your thoughts, that's where all your energy is going to flow. And you're actually creating more energy around the situation when you continue to think on it. Think on it. A good example is the business partner that I had for like 2.5 weeks. We had a little ramp up time before we actually went live with the show. And she and I had, I just, in full disclosure, had approached her about an idea for a show, and we were going to be business partners. I said I was looking for somebody 50-50. And anyhow, and we decided that that wasn't going to be the right fit. So I changed passwords on things and I said, okay, all right, if you're done, then we're done. Like if that's that. And she went through the roof. She went absolutely through the roof. Which I still don't even understand. She was the one that was like, this isn't working for my time schedule. This isn't. I'm like, okay, cool. You approached me and said that. I'm not going to allow people. I worked in IT for 15 years. If you say you're done, I change passwords. Like that's all I did. So she then proceeds to dislike my posts every single day. Maybe she still does. I actually had to stop going back and looking at, any of like the dislikes, because it was putting me into such a state of suffering. I was getting really upset over it, and it was causing me a lot of anger and anxiety and all that. So I actually had to stop. But she was doing it every single day, and she was posting nasty things about me on social media. Like I've been called a lot of things before. Not everybody likes me. A lot of people do. Some people don't. Doesn't matter. But the things that she said about me, She called me a toxic narcissist that gaslights like a boss. I feel like she just took all the popular buzzwords and put them into a sentence and was like, that's Jen Sugarmeyer. And I think, and I really had to think about this, and I had to go back and I looked at every single, and I'm going somewhere with this. I had to look back at every single one of our conversations. I was like, what the heck did I miss? Like, I don't ever want this to happen again. I was like, I want to learn. I want to grow. I even talked to my mom about this. I was like, Mom, what? I'm like, I want to never have this repeated again. I want to know where I can do better. So I went back and I'm like looking at all these things. I'm like, what the heck did I miss? Because she went from like, oh, life is happy to like, bleh. And I was like, geez, for the love of God. And she was like doing evil things on her social media page, talking about me and disliking all my stuff. And I'm like, this woman, I'm glad I'm not in business with, because this is insane. And the more energy, I tell you all of this because the more energy that I put into it, the more this situation created, and it grew bigger and it grew bigger and bigger. And I was like, I want it to go away. Stop it. Go away. But every day I was obsessed about going. Is she disliking my post? How dare her? I can't believe she's still going out. Can she just not let this go? Just leave me be. What is your problem? You said you have too many things going on. So go deal with your other things. Why are you dealing with me? Like, I just want to put a good message out into the world. What's your problem? Why are you against me? You were for this whole idea yesterday. Now you're against it. Why? I don't even get it. Do you see where I was going? And the more anger and the more frustration, this thing grew bigger and bigger and bigger. So now I'm taking walks and I'm like thinking about the situation. And throughout the day, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about the situation because I'm focused on it. Where your thoughts go, your energy flows. I had this resistance with her behavior and I hated it. It felt, it hurt. It hurt, to be honest. I'm like, why is she doing this? What is so wrong in her life that she has to cut me? Because hurt people hurt people. So this had nothing to do with me. I was just shrapnel in this. In fact, I think she was triggered by what happened in her life with her mother. I'm pretty sure because of, anyway. So I kept putting energy into this thing because I was thinking about it. So what's something for you? I want you to think about something in your life that you continue to think about, or something that's happening and you're feeling this resistance. You know the answer to it? What's the opposite of rejecting? It's accepting. It's accepting. Now, I'm not telling you if you're in a bad relationship, just accept it for what it is. No. This situation with this business partner of mine, or whatever the heck she was, person I went live with for 2 weeks and we had no contract together, and she thought that like we were in a relationship. It's accepting. But it doesn't mean that just accept it at face value and take whatever somebody's going to give you. In my mind, I had to accept that situation with the woman, that she's in pain, that something else was going on. You may have had abuse back in your life and you keep holding on to that thing. There's nothing we can do to change the past. Nothing. Not the situation with this woman, not the abuse, not these things that have happened. But if we accept that they happened to us, they happened, and we can move past them. Have you become stronger because of them? Or are there ways that you can currently strengthen yourself because of them? Did maybe they happen because there's a message that you're supposed to be sharing with someone else? Is there a reason that these things happened? So I'm not telling you to accept these things within your life and just at face value. Well, I'm to accept this abuse in my life. No. Accept that the situation is what it is, and then make the moves that are appropriate to protect you in your life. And whether that's move on, move forward, move away? I don't know. But we have to accept that what has happened has happened. We have to accept that as we are moving forward and we're going through growth, that discomfort will come with that. We have to accept these feelings into our life. And when we accept them, then we're not creating them into a bigger situation. I shared that level of detail with my business partner because it was such a small thing. And some people maybe could just walk on and move on. But I, for months, put my thoughts there. And so my energy went there and it created something so much bigger. And now I accept. I accept that she is what she is. I accept that I'm not going to be able to win over everybody. And in fact, I think I'd be a lot better with people that I don't know disliking my posts. But the fact that she was supposed to be the one that was side by side with me doing this, that she loved the idea, that we talked about it and came up with ideas and topics to talk about and the impact it was going to have on the world. And then all of a sudden, in an instance, she turned against me and it hurt. But I continued to put that energy into that situation. And because I did that, it grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And I wish her well. I hope she heals because it's very, very clear there's more happening there. But so often we make these situations about us. Let's not forget that hurt people hurt people. So there may be a situation that you too are just shrapnel in. Shrapnel is it's like the little pieces of the gun that's going off. It's not meant to be at you, but it hits you anyway. So that may be what it is. It may be that your higher power wants you to have some lesson in your life to help grow you and strengthen you for the next step in your life. I don't know. But when you're resisting, acknowledge those feelings. Why am I resisting? And remember, where your thoughts go, your energy flows. And you're creating a bigger problem. And the opposite of rejecting and resisting is accepting. And what can you do in your mind to accept that situation and look at it in a positive way? We always want to think in the positive route because positivity attracts positivity. Negativity attracts negativity. And guess what they do when they're together? They polarize each other, and negativity is going to win. So if you want to be confident, if you want to be positive, if you want to be happy, if you want to be joyous, those don't play in the same space as this anger and frustration and negativity. So when you have that resistance, accept it and spin it. How do you look at this in a positive light? Because that glass is half full and it's half empty. And you get to choose. You get to choose. You own the power. Don't give up your power. So what is it today that you're resisting? And I'd encourage you to face those feelings and see what's going on. Because when those things creep up in your life, that should be your red flag or your white flag. Maybe it's surrendering. Hey, something else is going on inside. What is it? And deal with them head on. We can't shove things under the rug. They just perpetuate. And where your thoughts go, your energy flows. I really want you to get that in your head because it's so powerful, so powerful. So that is the message today. Go back and listen yesterday about how to get in flow. But when you are feeling that resistance, I want you to start to acknowledge it in your life and then flip it. Flip it. And that doesn't mean make up something that doesn't exist. You always have choices. You always have choices. That glass half full and half empty. So with that, we're done with our 20 minutes for the day. That's what it's all about. Feeding that mind for 20 minutes. It is so incredibly powerful and will set you on the right step for the day. So if you've not yet liked, if you've not yet subscribed, please do so. And if you're interested in having a topic that we talk about on the show, go out to higherinheels.com. That's where you'll be able to write into the show, because this is Mindset in the Morning brought to you by Higher in Heels. So go to higherinheels.com and put in whatever message, that if it's a specific topic or if there's something specific that you want to be coached on, write about it and we'll talk about it. All right. And until then, I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Don't forget, pay attention to that resistance. It's telling you something more. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Cheers.